We want to open the door for political and revolutionary forces to sit down and form a government of national technocrats that will fulfill the needs of the transitional phase. I hope these forces will start immediately a serious dialogue that will restore the unity of the Sudanese people. After forming the executive government, the Transitional Council will be dissolved, and the High Council will be formed for the armed forces.
Researcher and Sudan analyst Jihad Mashamoun joins me now from Exeter in the UK. Jihad, thanks for joining us. Is this the military government now saying, we've had enough, we can't do this anymore, we need to move forward?
Thank you for having me. And it does give it a perception of that, absolutely. And at the same time, I'm inclined to say the people actually see it as the people and the civilian politicians of the FFC, the Forces of Freedom Change, they see it as a way of the military to buy time through undermining the unity of the civilian forces. The reason why Al Burhan has come up with this idea is that the forces are uniting, and the more that the focal forces are uniting, and the more it encourages middle-ranking and junior officers, and to some extent a limited number of the senior officers in the military or the army, to do a coup against Al Burhan and his allies. And the second reason behind this is that Al Burhan also wants to de-escalate international tensions or backlash against him and his allies of the military, who are essentially the former, who are remnants of the former Bashir regime, essentially.
All right, so, go ahead.
If I may actually even elaborate on this, according to my reading of the situation and even speaking with some sources in the Forces of Freedom Change, the Central Committee, it's actually the military has been focusing on encouraging the Forces of Freedom Change Central Committee that Al Burhan ousted in October 25, 2021, to have a new partnership. And that happened during the last talks between those two stakeholders in a meeting held by the U.S. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee, and the Saudi ambassador. When the Forces of Freedom Change read the details of the partnership, they declined it because they understood very well that the military wants to get involved into another partnership that will discredit the civilian forces again within the streets. And the civilians cannot afford to lose their supporters in the street anymore. They're actually rebuilding their credibility at the moment.
All right, let's see if there's a detailed plan coming out of this. Jihad, good to have you.
Thank you very much.